You know, Neil Druckmann is a really funny character. He's worked in the video game industry for some time now, so you'd like to think this guy has some common sense, but clearly not. Now, unlike Anita Sarkeesian, Neil is actually a success story. He's worked on some fantastic games whether we like it or not, and whilst he has become a wet blanket in recent memory, I don't want to take away from what he's done, what he's accomplished, but I've got to say, he's gone full stupid mode. Neil stood in front of an audience and gave a keynote about how women are overly sexualized in video games, and has perpetuated the idea that the sexy girls in video games has a direct link to sexism, which is an interesting idea. Kind of sounds like the stupid idea, the same idea that video game journalists make about violence in video games, doesn't it? How is that argument any different? If I'm playing Metal Gear Solid 5, that's going to lead me to be sexist towards women because of Quiet, right? Is that also going to lead me to shoot a bunch of people down the road? Because that's what you do in Metal Gear Solid, right? You shoot people. If I play Dead or Alive, is that going to make me sexist because of the entire roster, because every woman on there has big boobs? If I play Mortal Kombat 9 and fight Melina, am I suddenly going to go outside and start chomping people up and not objectifying women at the same time? The obvious answer is no, but someone like Neil Druckmann wouldn't get something like that. They'd rather push the idea that attractive women in video games is the devil and that they must all be hulking juggernauts that throw men through windows or partake in some sort of far-fetched activity. But it's still okay to make male video game characters either handsome, super buff, or just have them topless. Completely fair, makes complete sense. Now don't get me wrong, I don't want to be playing as someone like Bob from Tekken. I want to be playing as someone like Kazuya. But the double standard is pretty hilarious. So why doesn't Neil apply the same logic to violence as he does to women and sexism? Well, it's because he thinks he's appealing to the wider demographic. In order for Neil and Naughty Dog to survive, people have to buy their game. Neil thinks that the overwhelming majority of people want the ideologies that he is putting into the games to be at the forefront. Obviously, he and the rest of Naughty Dog have probably come to realize that that's just not the case and that is not their demographic. What Neil has done is fallen for the old echo chamber. When one person says something, that means everybody else is saying it. Those that scream the loudest are heard. The vocal minority got into Neil's rational thoughts, assuming he ever had any to begin with. He openly admitted to being influenced by Anita Sarkeesian's work. Anita Sarkeesian's work, as we have already established before on this channel, is garbage. 100% hot trash. If you're influenced by crappy work, your work is going to be crappy. It's only natural. The work you produce will be crappy. And that's not to say that the Uncharted 4 game or The Last of Us Part 2 are crappy pieces of work, but the chinks in the armor have already started to show. I raised some eyebrows whilst playing Uncharted 4, but I enjoyed it. I'm not going to lie to you. I thoroughly enjoyed that game. I still play online all these years later, and I still enjoy it. I think it's a great game. Had its problems though. The Last of Us Part 2 has been hurt significantly by the leaks, but I still don't think that it's going to be a failure. I still think it's actually going to do pretty well. The first game was so powerful and memorable that even with everything we know about the second one, it'll have enough driving force to actually do quite well. Definitely not going to do as well as it would have done if the leaks hadn't come out, but I still think it will do well enough. It could actually blow up in their faces though. I could be completely wrong. This game could bomb incredibly hard. I could be completely wrong. It's my gut feeling that it's still going to do well, but who knows? The internet has been very vocal. The comment section has been very vocal about this game. Who knows what's going to happen at this point? But the point remains, if video games have the capacity to make us sexist, don't they also have the capacity to make us hyper violent? Mortal Kombat is way more violent than it ever was sexy, and so is The Last of Us. As a matter of fact, The Last of Us Part 2 seems to be way more violent than the first one, judging from the trailers. Obviously the graphics are way better, so the killing is going to look far more realistic. So if I'm running around as a little girl hacking people up, isn't that going to influence me to be more violent in real life using Neil's logic? You see, when I say it like that, it sounds incredibly stupid, right? How many times have there been studies about video games making us violent, and how many times has it come out that they don't actually do that and these claims are completely unfounded? Not a single shred of evidence. It's actually gone in the opposite direction. So explain how it's any different when talking about sexism. The straightforward answer is it's not. You're just being a wet blanket. There's no evidence to support that me punching a woman in Hitman will result in me punching an unsuspecting woman in the face as I walk down the road. Me using a scantily clad character like Mai from the King of Fighters does not mean I'm going to objectify every single woman with a big chest. This argument is so dumb and it's unjustified and it actually hurts my brain. Neil, if you ever hear this video, please use your head. Do not fall for this vocal minority nonsense. I know the internet has turned against you, but it's not too late. People have turned things around. You see people turn things around all the time. Everyone remembers when Tyson Fury was the villain of the heavyweight division. Nobody wants to see him win. And now look at him, he's like the hero and the pride and joy of the UK next to Anthony Joshua. You can turn things around. Do not censor your artistic freedoms or your artistic expression, however you want to put it. Do not pander to the vocal minority. Listen to the majority that have put money in your pockets, that have bought your games over the years and supported you. The Last of Us Part 2, the damage might already be done. It might be too late for that game, but it's not too late to do a U-turn on the decisions you've made, and it's not too late to drop Anita Sarkeesian from influence in any more stupid decisions that you guys have over at Naughty Dog.